2004 to 2006. Chapter 8. Licensed. Today's the big day. It's my swearing-in ceremony. Ronnie and I are sitting in the back seat of my father-in-law's car. Tom is driving. As a former cop, he's the kind of guy who likes to be in control. Mary, Ronnie's mother, with her small, thin frame, sits beside him. She's as much a passenger in his life as she is in the car. It was Ronnie's idea for us to ride in with his parents, and I reluctantly agreed. As much as I want them to like me, I still feel awkward around them. But they are my family now, and I want them to see that I'm not the loser they think I am. Yes, I was still on welfare as a single mother of two when Ronnie and I met, and I was still getting high for a while after we got together. I'm clean now, almost 3 years, and as of this afternoon, June 25th, 2005, I'll be an attorney, licensed to practice law in the state of Massachusetts. Maybe they'll finally see me as somebody who's good enough for their son. Gail Nastasia, Esquire. It still feels surreal. I've been working my way toward this day since I was 27 years old, even longer if I count all the years of college before law school. It took so long I thought it might never happen. And with all the trouble I had between staying sober, the wedding, and then giving birth to Serena just 2 months before sitting for the February exam, it's nothing short of a miracle that I'm going to be sworn in today. I'm sitting behind Tom, watching out the window, thinking about how I got here. I remember how grateful I was the night before the bar exam, when I checked into my room on the 12th floor of Boston's Seaport Hotel. As soon as I got inside, I took off my sneakers, fluffed the pillows, laid down on the white, puffy comforter, and turned on the television. It had been months since I had any time to myself. Ronnie brought Serena to see me later that night, and after they left, I studied for hours. I was determined to give the exam everything I had. The next morning, I woke feeling ready. I sat with the other dozens of test takers in an enormous room filled with long rows of tables, 6 deep. Electronics weren't allowed, and all other belongings, besides bottled water and something to write with, were placed along the wall in transparent bags. Before we started the first day's multiple-choice portion of the exam, I closed my eyes for my version of a prayer. Mom, help me if you can. Then I opened the test and moved quickly through the questions. It felt so easy to me that when I finished before half of the other test takers, I was sure I'd done something wrong. On the second day of testing, the essay portion, I had less anxiety. I'm better at essays. Some might say it's because I'm a good bullshitter, but I know it's really a consequence of my love of words. I moved through the morning portion of the second day as easily as I had the first. During lunch, a group of smokers were sitting outside. A girl with frizzy black hair and thick glasses was the first to break the silence among us. "What did you say for the second question?" she asked the group. "Foreclosures?" a guy asked. "Yeah, how many elements?" The guy stayed quiet. 4, I said. "I'm pretty sure." "What about simultaneous death?" Frizzy Hair asked. The guy took a drag of his cigarette and flicked it at the building. "I don't know," he said, before he turned and walked away. I shrugged when she looked at me. I knew better than to go down the road of second-guessing myself, especially when we had a lot more testing to go. When I got back in my seat for part 2, I couldn't stop thinking about that girl. Why didn't you just answer her? Concentrate. She was obviously stressed out. Subject matter jurisdiction. Yes, the court has it. You could have answered her. You knew the answer. What about diversity jurisdiction? Maybe. Stop. Focus. My head went back and forth for the rest of the exam. The only way I could stop myself from thinking about the girl was by shifting my focus to Ronnie and how he was doing with caring for Serena on his own. That made me anxious, too. By the time I turned in my last blue book, I was sure I had failed. The 2-month wait for the results was excruciating. At first, I imagined the worst, raising my hand at my favorite AA meeting to announce I'd failed and wouldn't be a lawyer after all. It felt terrible. So I tried the opposite. I visualized myself announcing I'd passed. I repeated it daily. By the time I saw my name on the passing list, it felt like it belonged there. "My father's talking to you," Ronnie says, his voice nudging me back into the car with him and his parents. I turn my gaze away from the window to the rearview mirror. Tom's eyes briefly meet mine before he turns them back to the road. "What do you plan to do after today?" he asks, apparently for the second time. "I'm going to stick with bankruptcies," I say. Tom's been trying to convince me to do criminal work. He used to be a police prosecutor, and, having been retired for well over a decade, he misses being in the courtroom. I have no desire to get involved with criminal law, except to help out my brother. There's a warrant for Philip's arrest out of Gloucester, and he's asked me to represent him. He's been waiting for me to become licensed. But I don't tell Tom that. He knows little about my family or my history, aside from having met my 2 siblings, Chrissy and Philip, and my father at the wedding. And as far as I'm concerned, the less Ronnie's parents know about any of my past, the better. It's dead and buried, and that's where it should stay. "You should practice criminal law," he says again. I knew that was coming. No way. I can't even imagine doing a trial. Despite all the work I've done to become a lawyer, I still don't know if I have what it takes. I've always seen myself more as somebody who needs representation than as the one doing the representing. At least, I used to.